Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my January to March book wrap up. I did not read any books in January. No, I did not finish any books in January, but I was reading. So in February, I read 2 books. So the first book that I read, the first book that I listened to in February was the Hobbit audiobook. I did not know what book to start reading this year. I was having a bit of trouble trying to figure out what I felt like reading, but instead I just chose to listen to this audiobook again because I just love The Hobbit. It's become a comfort read for me. So I decided to start listening to this audiobook, and this time I did not read alongside listening to the audiobook. I rated this book 5 stars. I love The Hobbit and I love this audiobook. It's so good. And then the last book that I read in February was Permission to Feel by Mark Brackett. I also started this one in January and then I just finished it in February. This is a nonfiction book and I really liked it. I rated this one 5 stars. I just really enjoyed the book. It felt like a very informative read. It's not much of a, there's not really statistics or numbers in this book. It's more anecdotal than it is talking about stats. Yeah, I really appreciated all of the anecdotes that he talked about and he shared, whether it's about his personal experience or personal life or from students or other people that has shared their stories with him. I just thought that they were very helpful with trying to, I guess, understand the things that he was talking about better and the effects of having it implemented into their life and how it has helped them. I just thought that that was very cool and I really like this sort of mission they're doing. So this book is all about emotions and feelings and understanding them better, as well as techniques or approaches to help you sort of regulate your own emotions as well as others. So yeah, I really liked this book. I just felt like I was learning a lot and I think I would benefit from reading this again to really take in the information and also try to implement the steps that he or approaches that he has talked about in the book. One of the things that I really liked about in the book was when he talked about the mood meter. I thought that that was really cool. So the mood meter is this quadrant of emotions, and there's different emotions within these parts of the quadrants. So the x-axis is the levels of pleasantness of how you're feeling, and then the y-axis is your energy. So if you have low energy but you're still feeling pleasant, you're probably going to be falling into the green area of the quadrant, and then there's corresponding emotions within there. So you might be feeling calm or peaceful or relaxed depending on your energy and the pleasantness. I just thought that was very cool and helpful to help you sort of categorize where you are in the mood meter of how you're currently feeling. I just thought that that was very cool. Another thing that he talked about was the ruler approach. Ruler basically stands for recognizing your emotions. U is for understanding, L is for labeling, E is for expressing, and then the last R is for regulating. So he talks about ruler in the book, and each letter has its own chapter to help you understand what he means by these different steps. So yeah, this part is the part where I definitely would love to reread. Moving on into March, I read 4 books. The first one that I read was Dubliners by James Joyce. This is an audiobook that I listened to on Audrey. Finally figured out how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry. I pronounced it Dubliners before. It is Dubliners. And this is an abridged version because Dubliners is a collection of short stories, but in the audiobook on Audrey, it only has 3 of the short stories. The ones that are included in this audiobook is Evelyn, Clay, and The Dead. I enjoyed this audiobook. I just feel like I need to reread it again because I feel like I'm not getting everything from the stories. I would love to take notes and annotate because the stories are pretty straightforward, but there's a lot of things in the unsaid that makes the stories more impactful. I also appreciate that there is a guide. As with all of the audiobooks in Audrey, there are guides, and I just really appreciated it because it gave me a lot more context into a lot of the stories. So for example, in The Clay, I did not understand the importance of the clay and what it symbolizes. And then in the Dead story, it also provided more context on the relationship between England and Britain during that time, and it was not very good. I rated this one 3.75 stars. I initially rated this one 4 stars, but I decided to rank it a little lower just because I was looking at the other books within my 4-star rating and it just didn't really fit. The next book that I read was A World Without Princes by Soman Chainani. I really, really like this book. This is my favorite book that I read during March. I rated this one 4.5 stars. It was just a really enjoyable read. As I said in my reading vlog, I enjoyed it much more than the first book. Also, in that vlog, I mentioned that I enjoyed the latter part of the book just because it was a lot more exciting, a lot more action packed. And the thing that I really, really enjoyed about the latter part as well is the plot twist. And I was expecting a plot twist to sort of happen. I just did not expect it to be that intense, I suppose, or that dramatic. I loved it. It was so good. And another part about the plot twist was that things became a bit more complicated in a way. It just was a bit of a mind fuck because it had a bit more of like an unreliable narrator sort of thing going on because I just was so confused. I didn't know what to believe. I didn't know who to believe anymore because of these like plot twists. If you read this book, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Like, I was just so amazed with the magic and stuff that was happening, but also what's going on. Who is telling the truth, or what is the truth, or is this still a lie? I was just like, this is a bit much, but I still loved it. Again, with the ending, it was just action packed. The plot twists were just like mind boggling and intense and dramatic, and it was just so good. I can't wait to read the next book. And also, another thing that I like about the books is that I like the nuances that are being explored with the two main characters, with Sophie and Agatha, because in these past two books, there's always this sort of binary thing. Because in the first book, there's this, like good versus evil sort of thing. And then in the second book, there's girls versus boys. Again, I just like the nuances being explored by the two characters because they are different from the people in this place, in this other world. So yeah, I just really liked that. And I guess exploring the nuances in the spectrum of these two binaries, I just really appreciate, and I liked it. Which is why I wasn't really a fan of like what was going on when I was reading this book, because I was like, why is there always these two extremes happening? Like, there's no middle ground, no gray area. Like, anyway, also another thing that I didn't like about the second book, not necessarily didn't like, but it's just like I don't understand it. I mentioned this in the reading vlog, but I don't understand their influence in this other world. I just think that it doesn't make sense because they are these sort of outsiders. They don't belong in this other world, and yet they hold this sort of power and influence over everyone. And not just everyone, every creature as well. It just I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, moving on to the last two books. The third book that I read in March was the Phantom of the Opera audiobook. This is an abridged version. So I thought I was gonna like this book because I thought that there was like some romance, but it is not that. Not it at all. This is not a romance book. I don't know anything about Phantom of the Opera. I was going in this blind. I don't know anything about the story. So when I was listening to this, I felt very uncomfortable. I was very concerned, especially for the woman character, Christine. Christine is her name. Okay, when I was reading, I was like, this is not good. This is a very, very toxic relationship. And I was like growing scared because it's this ghost and he's like has this obsession with her. He says that he loves her, but it's not love, it's more obsession. I was just getting scared because he is this supernatural being with like inexplicable powers. In the beginning of the book, there is someone that dies, and you kind of get an understanding of what he is capable of. She was also scared. I was scared. We were all scared of this ghost, and I was just like baying for her, for Christine in my mind, to just like figure out a way to either run away or to escape in some way, because it was just getting concerning. And she was also concerned for not only herself but for the people around her, because she knows that he's going to do something to them. And that also just felt very frustrating. I felt frustrated because she kept coming back to him even though she has already like left. Obviously, because of this like toxic relationship, she felt like she had to come back to just appease him, to like not hurt anybody. But I can understand why she felt compelled to keep coming back, but it was just so frustrating. Like, Ugh. Anyway, I rated this one 4.25 stars. I still enjoyed it. I think a big part of it was due to Christopher Lee. I really, really loved how he voiced the characters and just his voice. I love his voice and how he read the book. Very, very good. I loved it. And then the last book that I read in March was Sphere by Michael Crichton. This is another audiobook that I listened to. So I thought I was gonna like this book because when I read the blurb, it seemed like it could be like a premise for a movie, like a sci-fi thriller sort of movie. I was thinking like Alien, not Alien. I never watched Alien. What was it? Alien versus Predator, or something like The Cube. Even though I've never watched The Cube, I don't know. I just had like that sort of image in my head when I was reading the blurb of this book. So I was just getting like that sort of vibe. So I thought I was gonna like it. So I was very excited to read this. And the beginning was very promising because when I was listening to it, I had a very similar feeling to when I was reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, where I was just so excited of getting to the place and everything was just like this shiny new thing, like, ooh, what is this? Ooh, what is this? And I was also just excited to read about the science fiction aspects because I've recently realized that I love reading like these bits of science fiction in books, like in Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Just like the small bit of science fiction in that book, I really, really enjoyed it. What else did I read that had like just like these sprinkles of like science fiction-y bits that I really liked? I feel like there's definitely more, but I can't name them at the top of my head at the moment. So yeah, anyway, I was just excited to read about like the science fiction aspects in the book. I thought I was gonna like it more than I did. Again, the beginning was great, and then it's not really the middle, more of like the latter part of the middle to the end is where things fell a bit flat, just because things prior to that were very action packed, very dramatic, people were getting killed, and then things sort of started to slow down when there was only 3 people left. It just felt a bit boring because of how slow things got. Like there was like nothing happening. It was more of characters just speculating with what is going on and speculating each other. It just felt a bit flat for me personally. Still liked it. I still love the science fiction parts. It was just so cool. Like things were weird, things were strange, but I guess I really appreciate and love like the imagination. I'm not saying it's strange and weird in a bad way. I'm saying it in a good way. So yeah, I rated this one 4.25 stars. So yeah, that is it. That is all the books that I read in this first quarter of 2025. Let me know what books you've read that you've enjoyed in the comments down below. I would love to know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.